Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. On my Brady Bunch screen, Michelle and Lori are side by side and they have the same backgrounds. Look at that, like an endless wave.
Hey, good taste, Michelle.
I can't see. Wait, I got to look through all the 3 pages of people. Okay. No, no one else has that particular background. So it's very, very exclusive. Okay. It's Wednesday. We're back at a campus Zoom. Thanks, everybody. It's always good to see people, even just their names. And I don't know who owner is, but I'm glad owner is here too. Let's see. There are not any questions that have been submitted prior to today, so we may get some more as we go through the meeting. There will be one update from me, one from Noel, and Carol, and always we're open to questions, of course. So let me begin. Many of you are participating in the cross-campus work groups that are related to the vice president's uh, earlier memos about certain functions or operations being consolidated across the 7 campuses, certain conversations about um, academic program consolidations, and I think that's about the 2 big areas. And so there have been conversations going on across the campuses. Um, there will be opportunities to continue these. Okay, let me back up. Sorry. Um, the groups submitted memos for March 12th deadline. Those memos were going to be reviewed by Erica, and I think the chancellors are going to be asked to look at them as well. Erica will be doing a response to those reports. I'm not sure if it's going to be group by group by group, or it's going to be a general response to all the groups. I don't know that at this point, but she is going to wait until after the Board of Regents meeting, which is next week, before she crafts her response. If you've been following the board, and if you look at the agenda, which will be out, I guess, very soon, but it's a follow-up from last month's board meeting. The board is going to be reviewing a resolution about the charge to the campuses for reimagining the university and the operational efficiencies and all of that. So that resolution is going to be before the board at the board meeting next week. So if you have time, you may want to uh, tune in to the board meeting. You can get the URL on the board's website. It's open, and we can all pay attention. Let's see. So once that board meeting happens, then Erica will create a response for the groups, the cross campus groups. There will be opportunities this summer to meet if the groups choose to. It's completely up to the groups to determine whether or not they want to meet. And there will be conversations with the facilitators of those groups to determine the deliverables. And there will be, I believe, I'm not sure for all the groups, but certainly for some of the academic groups, there will be funding for meetings. There are uh, lots of professional development opportunities that are funded at $200. And I believe that these cross-campus conversations, if the groups choose to go into it, they will have that kind of support. Are there questions about that part? I don't know the details just yet. It just came up today in the meeting. So Tammy will be crafting some kind of overall information, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up if you are wanting to talk to your group mates about whether or not you wanted to meet and what you might want to accomplish as a result of those meetings. What questions do you have? Thanks, Brandon, for putting the connections. No questions? Okay, moving on. Noel, You have updates for the campus?
Yep, I was trying to get everything situated.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. Almost there. Okay, so let me see if I can share.
I don't know if you can share. Let me look. Yes.
Yep, I can share. Um, and then I will make this bigger so we all can kind of see. But first off, I just kind of wanted to thank everybody part of the campus who helped with this re-enrollment campaign, the instructors, as well as our professors who helped encourage students to go ahead and register. I did see a lot of people went into the registration document and then was copying and pasting some of the templates. So thank you for using that material. What you have up here is basically we're looking at fall and summer registration for the past well, last fall and then the 2020 and then fall 2019. Same thing for the summer. Summer is a little bit smaller. I didn't want to focus too much on this because we haven't yet experienced COVID, but just there as a placeholder so we can kind of see. If you look across here, the numbers in parentheses at the top is the total enrollment we ended up with at the end of the semester. So if we look at fall 2020, and I'm only looking at the first 4 days of registration, also didn't include the percentages because it just wouldn't make sense for percentages with numbers this small yet. So anyway, last fall had a total enrollment of about 6,300, all right? So looking at registration last year, you can see that this semester, in terms of the first 3 days, there is slight improvement. And the thing to recognize about this is anytime we're looking at the differences between fall to fall, any number that is pretty close to last year's or any improvement is a significant improvement because usually this is when students drop out. So for those of you who have been helping out with this enrollment campaign, thank you. It means a lot. I know the numbers don't show it too much, but we'll see probably a big boost probably in tomorrow when the rest of our students register. So I'll try to present some data about that. So we're talking about moving the needle, whether small markers or not. What we're looking at is here, basically by the 3rd day of registration, our enrollment is already out. And hopefully this trend does continue because what this does help is allow us to then understand what our enrollment looks like. And if we need to make any changes in terms of offering courses or whatnot, you can then start to make this change earlier on instead of trying to react to it later on.
Noelle, I'm sorry. Noelle, hold on. Could I just interrupt you for a second? I need to apologize to the AGOs because earlier this morning we had the meeting with the AGO leadership, and I said that it was really slow, it was dire, and I was basing my impressions on the very first day of reg. So I stand corrected. It's not as dire, but it's also early. So just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge my misspeaking. Okay, go.
Okay. One interesting setup that if you look at these numbers here for our summer enrollment, it's relatively really high at this time, especially when trying to compare it to last summer, which we were closer, probably 800, but the summer before that we're at 967. The other thing to recognize is summer is really inconsistent. As you can see here, summer 2019, we had about 2,200. Last summer, we had 2,700, all right? The other thing you might be asking, why is our summer enrollment so high compared to fall? A couple of different reasons. Some of them are students might be who are registering early, might take a summer class and then transfer to another university. The other one that's more probable is summer registration is open for everybody right now. Unlike fall, where you kind of got to fall into your credits. So sorry, ignore this. That was a mistake. I just copied and pasted. But summer enrollment, it also could be high because there is no priority application date. You basically, on Monday, you could all register, which is why these numbers are a lot higher than your fall numbers. So just some clarification on that. And typically, usually we have a lot more transfer students coming in for the summer. Usually mainland students coming back home for the summer break will take courses with us. All right. So in a nutshell, that is basically our enrollment for now. Thank you to all of your efforts. It is going a long way. The virtual walk-in, as well as the walk-ins for the other counseling units, have been pretty busy this week, and we expect it to kind of stay busy this week as well as next. I'm trying to look at some questions now.
While you're looking, you can say, hold on, sorry. So for the department chairs that offer summer classes, I think it's a good idea to be monitoring to see what the pressures are on the classes that you have listed already. If you're seeing high enrollments in certain classes, you might be wanting to have your backups all ready to go, so you don't lose any of those folks who might be wanting to take classes that are full already. So just monitor and adjust as necessary. Thanks. Sorry, no, yeah, I interrupted you twice already.
This is just some raw data of students who just registered in general. We don't know, I haven't pulled too much data if they're part-time or full-time. And then we also didn't break it down by continuing versus first year, because obviously for fall, any student who is registered is most likely a continuing student. So that data kind of gets pulled in at a later time.
Other questions for Noelle?
Can I share one more thing before I leave the spotlight?
I have a general question.
Sure,
Yeah.
Angela.
I know that some of the departments have been discussing like I'm going to say this incorrectly, but like the hub and spokes model of offering classes. Did that start for the summer, or is that going to start later?
Later.
Okay, thank you.
One thing, this is just an idea, but I thought I'd just kind of share it now to get some people thinking, and maybe we'll look at it a little bit more in detail later on. Usually toward the end of the semester and summer, we get inquiries of from various professors, seeing if we can try to increase enrollment in the classes, if we can kind of share flyers and whatnot. A possible idea that we're looking at and trying to be more engaging and a little bit more personable is, in lieu of the flyers and trying to mass email students, usually not that effective. What I would suggest, and this is just an idea, we can kind of talk more later on, but for our students, it really helps if they start to know or get to know the professor, which is kind of hard right now, but we're thinking about either like a really quick introduction of who you are, your class, just some really simple things about who you are and what classes you teach, just so students have a little bit more information about you as an instructor than just the course description that is in STAR. Because for a lot, if they are new or haven't interacted with any of you yet, basically their only idea of the course is the course description. Obviously, we do have a lot of wonderful instructional faculty here that if they just get to know who you are, that might help them make a decision to take in your class versus another online class in a similar format at another college. So just trying to look at other ideas to make it a little bit more personable for a student and how we can connect more. But that's just, we'll probably discuss it a little bit more. I just wanted to share that idea last couple of days.
There's a question and asking about funding for students from HERF. Jan, you want to your question like directly so that we don't go back and forth at times with cryptic notes?
Sure. Actually, I'm really interested in, sorry about the new acronym. So anyway, yes, named CARES Fund. Students who are taking time-limited summer programs, can they have access to that funding?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to summarize. I think I know what you're asking. So basically what Jan is asking about is the direct money to students that we have been giving out in the past. So it carries on last year, this year it's called CURSA. So no timeline yet about that. The main reason is we are trying to coordinate amongst all the CCs how to actually distribute the money. So basically how we identify and distribute. The reason that's a big thing to accomplish is, for one, I think each CC doesn't want to do all the reporting because it's a lot of work. So if the system does it, which they're willing to do, it's easier for the reporting purposes. But now, as 7 CCs, we got to agree how we're going to give out the money because everybody has a different pot. So if we have $1 million, Kauai might have closer to 500,000. So the problem is you can't just do like one universal model without taking into consideration the types of students and all that. In short, we'll probably be discussing it again this week and hopefully get a plan, because I know for a lot of us, we do want to distribute an initial amount in this semester rather than waiting for the fall. So as soon as information comes out about that, I'll be speaking about it here, as well as sending you guys a bunch of emails.
So Noelle, this is Jan again. So will the money be available for the summer semester students?
Summer semester students, if that's a hard question, Jan.
Yeah, I don't think it's specifically for the semester, Jan. The money will be for the students to use as they want. And we're hoping that some of that money gets dispersed this semester. But I don't think that we're going to be doing something special for summer school students who are enrolled with us for summer.
I think the easiest way to explain it is we'll probably look at students enrolled in the spring and give them money. That's our hope, so that we can get it done. And then we'll probably also distribute again closer toward the fall. It might be before the fall semester, but it'll be identifying students who are registered for the fall semester. I doubt we'll look at the summer enrollment, but if we do, I'll let you guys know.
The reason why I'm asking is that I know that there are time limited programs, for example, like the long-term care nursing assistant program, which is only offered this summer. And I've got some deaf students who are interested in taking that program. And so it is a summer program, it's time limited. And funding would be really appreciated. So I wanted to check to see if there is any CRRSA funding available. But I appreciate that the fact that we may not know for a couple more weeks, but the students already are taking classes at KCC. So
Thanks, Jen. Thanks for watching out for them. If they're enrolled in classes now and they meet the eligibility criteria whenever those are decided, then they can certainly put that money towards summer school.
And then Louise or Maria, can you answer Lavish's question?
Mm-hmm. You want to answer, Maria?
We just came on.
Okay, so Maria, there's a question from Lavishay about continuing students are asking if more synchronous and in-person classes will be added.
At this time?
Probably not, yeah?
No. Our schedule is done. I mean, it's going to confuse the students more if we keep on changing things.
We're going to see more synchronous and in-person classes in the spring semester, more than the fall. Still tenuous for fall, unfortunately. Got two more updates, one from Carol and one from Sheldon. So Carol, you first.
Okay, some of you have asked about what's going on with continuing education, so I'll just give a very brief summation of that. My understanding is that UHCC system is going to be securing the services of some consultants, and some of us have given recommendations as to who those consulting groups might be. The consultants would be working with the system and the campus over the spring and summer. In April to June, there is supposed to be a strategic plan developed both for the system level as well as the respective campuses about what continuing ed should look like going forward. So we are not necessarily in those groups that Louise was talking about, who would have discussions over the summertime and would be deciding things later, because continuing ed is on a faster track than that. And these dialogues have to be done in collaboration with credit. So continuing ed will be working with credit because we're looking to have, the bridging and the integration of credit and non-credit. So that's what I can share at this point. Then I also wanted to let you know that on Saturday, there is a Kaya Ulu webinar called Introduction to Assistive Technology, Expanding Possibilities. The guest speaker is Barbara Fischlowitz-Leong, who is the Executive Director of Assistive Technology Resource Centers of Hawaii. And if you know of individuals who might need some support and equipment and so forth, she'll be talking about various different topics about how what's available, the resources, and so on. So that's on Saturday, April 10th from 10 to 11:30. And I'll put the registration link in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Any questions about Carol's report? Okay, Sheldon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry to always bring like gloomy news, but I just want to provide updates from the field, from talking with high school counselors, sitting on some of their meetings, because what I find it really neat because it provides an insight and a pulse check on what our K-12 folks are going through. And perfect timing, like I got to sit in on a community workshop with Kamiki High School and had a really great conversation today from a private high school counselor. And the theme seems to be the same, where students are not motivated to taking that next step. So just to give you an idea, so when I sat in that meeting with Kamiki High School, and David Uedoi was there as well, so it was really insightful. What the principal shared was about 200 of their students are not on time to graduate from high school. A large portion of those students are freshmen and sophomores. So already at the gate, they're falling behind. And even though, and this might be similar to other campuses, because I kind of hearing it bits and pieces, even though Kamiki is welcoming all students to come back face to face, they're only at 30% occupancy. And so even though there are students who are mandated to go in person, they're not showing up. And so David asked a really great question, like what's preventing students from going to school? And this was super insightful. One of the big reasons was lack of routine. And so when the outreach counselors would do home visits, they're finding that students are either sleeping like to noon and then finding out they're staying up late. So they just have no routine. And so to get them back in a routine has been a challenge. And this is in addition to, as you all may know, students having to take care of their siblings, cousins, whoever, as parents go away to work. And so it's just a really complex situation. And I think when you look at the apps, I think seems like there's a good trend happening, but I think there's so many basic needs that need to be addressed that's making college tough to see as a priority. And so like I was talking with Lisa Yamamoto, maybe one of our angles in, I hate using this word, like selling college, is really highlighting stuff like our food pantry, mental health counseling, kind of sharing that college is a safe place to be. Yeah, academics is probably a given, but I think just showing how safe and nurturing this environment can be, perhaps that's the angle. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so in my talk with the private high school counselor, what was super interesting is parents are still nervous about the whole COVID situation. They're saying there's not a whole lot of conversations about going to the continent because there's so many unpredictable things happening with the pandemic. And so families are really looking at coming or staying home for their higher ed. However, they're not taking that next step. So what was a huge indication was a lot of their college counselors are getting inquiries now from their seniors about financial aid when they should have been doing that, had done that months ago.
Mm.
So that kind of tells them that this degree of urgency to start the college process is not the same as it was in previous years. And it could be because there's a huge disconnect. Like I was talking to this other family who's a father of a senior, and she shared with her dad that the senior class is just fragmented because if you think about it, the class of 2021 is a class that started off online and slowly integrating. And so I think for some high schools, maybe they got together maybe in March. So any kind of unified senior culture only started like a few months ago or this month even, and they're going to be done in May. And so there's a little bit of a disconnect there. So the counselor felt, the private school, high school counselor felt that a lot of these seniors might have their oh crap moment sometime in May when the counselor doing pulse checks on what they're going to do. Like, did you apply? Did you do this? Did you do that? And I think that's where a lot of students are going to be like, oh my God, I didn't do anything. And so I think that's where a lot of the Hawaii colleges might see the uptick, perhaps like around May or so. Because I think just this, again, this is just conversations I've been having with people. A lot of them seems to just be on survival mode right now.
Mm.
And I think once senior year is done, maybe that's where they can focus on that next milestone in their life. And that's where maybe even the families, maybe by the time May comes around, maybe everyone's vaccinated and maybe they can think next steps as far as their family basic needs, going back to work, whatever. And so it's just so many moving parts. And let me give you another example. So for the teachers at some of these schools, when they do their remote learning, and again, I might be preaching to the choir, some teachers have to do in-person and online at the same time. And then some teachers are given, it's not medically, but some of the teachers are given the option to teach from home. But if you have a school that's doing in-person and online, these schools now have to hire a proctor to monitor the in-person students while the teacher is online. And so that just gives you an idea of what these K-12 guys are working with. Like they're just trying to be so innovative and being accommodating and making things work and just being mindful of just people's health and safety, that there's no normal. I think they're just trying to roll out as whatever that they can to just make this year work. And so that I just wanted to share that with you folks, because I think I don't know what our in-class group is going to need. I think they're going to need a whole lot of TLC. Talking to McKinley High School the other day, they found out that they have a lot of students who typically may not be UHM eligible now getting into Manoa. And so they're nervous about maybe some of those students who are at Manoa may need remedial support there because because schools are going test blind. Maybe I'm pausing because sometimes when you lean on GPA, some can be inflated, some might be really authentic, hard to say. But when you use something standardized as ACT or SATs, whatever opinions you have about those exams, it's all standardized. But because they're accepting students with lower standardized scores, but maybe an inflated GPA, that may have a different field of talent in this freshman class. And so it's going to be a crazy year. I think 21, 22 is just going to be just shifting daily. And so I just wanted to give you all a heads up on what I've been hearing these past couple of months. And I got to tell you, these K-12 people, they're doing like amazing things with the resources that they have. I mean, they got to do just a lot with little, and hats off to them. But that's the kind of that's what's happening on the K-12 front. But questions?
Any thoughts for Sheldon?
Sheldon, hi, Laurie Burke. Thank you for
Hey,
that
Lori.
insight. I'm wondering if you shared about the summer career exploration class and how do you see that helping our potential students? Maybe that's what they would be needing.
You know, I feel any link that will keep some momentum going will be helpful. Because I think going back to that comment they made about routine, I think anything that gets them back into a routine will be beneficial, whatever that looks like. And so, yeah, I feel like those next step initiatives, I think anything, getting them to volunteer, whatever, it's just, they need to break this rut that they're in.
Other thoughts? What you said, Sheldon, about, maybe this incoming class might be a little bit needier than before because of the ways that they're being accepted. It just reminded me of my first semesters here. I was hired to teach English 22 at Manoa because they were accepting students that didn't meet English 100 levels. So there may be that kind of a need again. So I'm thinking too that this graduating class, we may need more sections of 75, math 75 or English 98, just because they've been out of the kind of preparation that we would expect from the high schools. So I don't know. I'm not monitoring any of the placement tests, if there are any, or any of the placements that are being done. And I just anticipate, it's my speculation, that we'll see higher needs for those classes. Angela says, gear up. Middle and high school students.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I saw that too. And but before I answered Angela's question, like I even had a talk story session with the Waipahu Community School for Adults. So even they're seeing with their adult population, not really using their resources all that much because they have to work. And just the remoteness, they just gotta take care of their families. And so even with our adult learners, again, extra TLC as well. With the tutoring, yeah, I think for all schools, they just want to bring students up to grade level. I think with Kamiki, I think 30 of their seniors are not graduating on time. And then again, what worried me too was that 30% occupancy where they're welcoming students to come back, but they're not. And this, I've heard this with private schools too. Like there's one private school, another one shared their CDC protocol. Like they have assigned water fountains. And so even with that, parents are like, nope, my kid's staying at home. And I thought, wow, like they're disinfecting, assigned water fountains, even assigned walk paths, and so no comfortable. So interesting.
Yeah, and that may well apply to faculty and staff too. About how comfortable do people feel about being back on the campus, and when that's going to happen. So yeah, it's a bigger question than just our students too. There's a bunch of stuff in the chat. That's from Denise, I'm guessing, about the tutoring. We're looking for students, right, Denise? Feel free to unmute and give a plug.
Yes, we have some awesome faculty here. A team of them wrote up this Gear Up grant and received it. And we're in the process of hiring now. The job is posted on Siki. So if you want to keep your students engaged and out there in the world doing something positive, then please encourage them to sign up to become a tutor. And I think if this goes well, we'll need more in the future. And it starts at $13.05 an hour, better than McDonald's.
Is it any particular topics, subject areas?
Mostly the cores, math, English, some science, social studies. Those are the 4 basics that we've received feedback on.
Okay. Has that gone out to the general faculty as a request at all yet?
I believe it has in some capacity. I'm not sure. Veronica Ogata and Virginia Yoshida are in charge of that.
Okay. Takes 7 times before anybody acts, so just saying.
We'll keep sending it out.
Yep. Every time you send it out, a couple more people respond, so just saying. Anyone else want to share anything?
Well, we have our Ohana food produce drive on Friday. So if
That's
you
right.
haven't signed up, we could use you. And also if you have students that are in need of food, or even any of your neighbors or community members can sign up to get that bag of food.
Thank you.
Louise,
Yeah.
Before I get Sherry to kind of do an update on the Next Steps program,
Mhm.
I did want to tell Sheldon, thanks for sharing. And I mean, thanks to everybody who's like, while Sheldon was talking, I was thinking of all our Olelo No'ea, or all our Hawaiian proverbs that we have that really speak to what Sheldon's talking about. I think one of our grants was No Ke Kau Hale Ke Kuleana, which is it's a responsibility of the village. But while he was talking, I was just thinking of the routine and how important, or the huge impact that our faculty make, and staff and all of us make on students. I mean, I think like my dad never wanted me to go to college, and I think for him it was his responsibility to rear me in a way that I would carry on the traditions. But I think a lot of the responsibility has fell upon educational systems to raise the child. And I know there was a lot of, I went to a class and there was just one thing that the instructor said that really changed the trajectory of where I was going from there. So with what Sheldon said, I just wanted to really applaud all the work everybody's doing to impact what this, I didn't know what else we can do. I was thinking maybe we should just set a date where we all get together, Sheldon, and start helping people doing or something. But I get the routine thing that once they fall out of it, I see more teenagers shooting people in the news now more than ever. But sorry, you had something to say.
No, you just reminded me of a comment one of the counselors said, and this is kudos to everyone at 4303 Diamond Head Road, is that they know the degree of authenticity and care. And they've told me that KCC is their favorite campus. These are high school counselors now, so they cannot change the minds of families and location. But I think the team here at because of who they are, I think special. And I think that's what our counterparts are sharing. And, maybe in time, families will realize the level of care and authenticity our school provides. But just know that's the feeling that I would hear from folks. So I think people are doing it already. So thank you to everyone. Really, it makes my job so much easier knowing that I'm amongst like these amazing people.
Did you want to add something else? No, no.
Yeah, and there she is. She appeared.
Magic,
behind her
Sherry, and next.
background. Going, Sherry.
Thank you. I just wanted to do a real quick update with Next Steps to Your Future. The website went live this week, and as of about 5 minutes ago, we had 63 students signed up. So kind of along the lines of what you've been talking about regarding the preparation for students. This year, Next Steps is including a math component. So in addition to the summer advising and the free summer course, students who are placing below college level will get free I guess, kind of support from our student support group to take the EdReady modules and to place into college level math. And so if they are able to do that, we have a bunch of math courses that are actually reserved for Next Step students throughout the system. And so in the fall semester, they will be able to register for those the college level math courses. They will have to pay for them, but we do have that opportunity available for the students. So just wanted to promote that. If you have any family, friends, students that you're meeting with who are class of 2021 public high school graduates, they are eligible for this program. I'll throw the website into the chat. There was also a nice article in the Star Bulletin yesterday featuring one of our KCC students. She's the Board of Student Publications Secretary. She participated in Next Steps last year. So there's a nice write-up there as well. And then we started the radio and TV spots. I think the radio spots went live yesterday, and then we're going to be doing TV this week, and then kind of through the next couple weeks.
Hey, Sherry, what is kind of the feel about Next Steps coming up for this summer that might be a little bit different from last summer? In terms of, are you guys sensing kind of the same thing Sheldon is sensing, like it's hard to get high school students motivated and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I mean, we're looking at the data and just talking about how, we thought class of 2020 needed help, but class of 2021 seems to need us more because their entire senior year has been displaced. So we've been working really closely with the P20 to get into the high schools to talk to the counselors to make sure that they're aware of the opportunities that are available. We're also working with some of the Gear Up schools to just make sure that the students are getting the information that they need. But yeah, we're seeing the same challenges. Students aren't coming out in the numbers that they previously did. And it is concerning. So we're trying. Yeah, we have a bunch of different initiatives that are going on right now.
Thank you.
Sherry, there was a question from Sheldon about the identity of the student who was in the BOSP secretary.
So see, no, Tasia Banto. Sorry, I wasn't sure what that question was for. I'll put the ads, not the ads, the press spots in the chat too.
There.
Oh, sorry, that came in really bad. I cut and pasted it. Sorry, I'll do it nicely.
Angela put it in too. You got lots of people working for you, Sherry. Thank you. Anyone else got stuff to share? Lots of help is needed for the food distribution on Friday. So please, if you have a chance, take some time, as little or as much as you can share of your time on Friday to help. Okay, looks like we're about done for this week. Oh, sorry, Roman. We're having a field day. This is a literal field day, not a metaphoric field day. On Friday also. So after you dodgeball, oh my God, that is so painful. I just have such painful memories of dodgeball. Aim for her feet, they'd always say. It's like, yeah, so after we're finished with the food distribution, then you can go run around and play dodgeball. That's all happening on Friday. Noelle is going to be playing. Okay, well, there goes a challenge if I ever heard one. He's going to be one-person team where I'm in then.
I'm a one-person team. This is borderline bullying and a hostile work environment.
Okay, aimed at you, I'm guessing. All right.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, Louise.
This is Louise. I wanted to add something at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Jamie Sickle, she's such a mad magician and everything. She worked closely with Jake Shimabukuro, and she's already posted, and I have added to the chat, Jake Shimabukuro's a small statement about his experience at Kapiolani. And I think it's very uplifting. And as we talk about challenges and how we touch people's lives, our students, I think that he will resonate. His message will resonate for all of you. So thanks to Jake who came through for us. He was invited to do a performance for us during the 75th anniversary, but because of COVID, it was canceled. But he came through with a video. So enjoy, everybody. It's a gift from Jake to all of you.
Thanks, Louise. That's really, I have to run and take a look at it. I hope he has it on his website to link back to our website. That would be very cool. Then everybody would be sent to our website for our 75th. Thank you for that. I'm going to run. And thank you also to Darsh and Maria for Where's Shaka? And it was really funny because when I saw the announcement in the bulletin, the news and events this morning, I went right away looking for Shaka. And it was before 10 o'clock and I got this message about, oh, so sorry, you're too early. We're not done yet. It's like, oh, so funny, Darsh. You want to say anything about the first day of Shaka?
Yes, of course. So I was thinking that enough of Wally and Waldo and looking for where they are. Let's look for Shaka. And here we are with Search for Shaka contest. The aim is just to bring audience to our website and make them knowledgeable about the fun facts of KCC. And the first question was released today, this morning at 10 o'clock. It's going to be every Wednesday from April to July. So it's 4-month-long contest. Every Wednesday, 10 o'clock, we'll release a question. You'll have to hunt for Shaka on the 75th anniversary website. And if you find it, click on it and answer the question. And if you answer it, the top 5 person who answers correctly would get points. And at the end, whoever gets the highest points will have top 3 winners and they'll get amazing prizes. So look out for Shaka. Thank you.
Darsh, and if you could, every Wednesday, could you update us on the standings? Not that I'm competitive, of course, but just update us on the standings of who's in the lead, just so that we know at 9:59 a.m. we'll be poised to look for Shaka.
Yes, of course, I'll do that.
Thank you. Anything else at all? Okay, looks like we're done for this week. Thank you all always for joining us and for sharing your news and your concerns and your thoughts with us. As you've heard, it's not an easy time. It continues to be difficult for so many people, personally, professionally. We struggle with the situation. Be good to each other, be good to yourself, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next week, Wednesday. Unmute yourself and say goodbye to all your colleagues. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
July
What's that?
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.